So I just wanted to make a video to touch base on a few things. Sometimes God will call you to do things that may not make sense to you. And again, it's not for us to make sense of it because of God's God's ways are sometimes not of this world. They're so astronomically out of our ability to grasp because He is more than astronomical. He is more than cosmic. He is more than human. He's more than everything that there's more than physics or science or magic can ever explain. He is all that and then more, like the saying. He's all that with a bag of chips. We can't even fathom the amount of complexities and depth and greatness and foresee, even psychics, right? They have or seers, right? They have the ability to see things. They cannot see things that He can see. They cannot understand things that He can understand. So again, God might call you to do things like so many times in the Bible, I've realized too, Jesus told more than one people so many times, take up your bed and follow me. Let go of your life and follow me. And recently, this was just like ringing in my head. Like I was kind of like feeling stuck at a standstill in life, knowing that I was supposed to be maybe packing up to move out or cleaning up a burglarized disaster or doing some work on the computer, be it homework or some business stuff that I've been working on or reaching out to other people for whatever reasons, right? And because again, the devil is a trickster. The parasite will get in your head. It will keep you stuck. It will trap you, be it through the people around you, be it through spell work, be it through distractions, right? People coming over, knock, 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 I need. They'll dump their problems on you. And when you're a people pleaser or a nurturer by nature, you stop everything for yourself to help everybody, right? So sometimes even like I'll feed the world but forget to feed myself. I'll want to be doing this work and then I get wrapped up in doing everybody else's work. I need to take a bath or a shower and instead it's like spend my whole day running around doing all these things for people. And again, so many times I found myself being like mocked because, okay, so growing up they said I had ADHD or PTSD or Asperger's or people thought I was on drugs or then I was on drugs. And again, even when at my worst or my most manic, as for lack of better wording, I was like literally laps ahead of people. But again, I would be doing in the middle of something and people would come and ask me to do things and I'd stop what I was doing or I'd terrorize my house that was trying to find something to be helpful. And again, people would like act like I was such a flake or I would be like the bag lady, right? Like I would take all my stuff, because I could foresee all these things. I didn't ever want to be somewhere and not have what I needed or what somebody else needed. So then I would take all this stuff because, I was like a Boy Scout, always prepared. But people would like mock me for it. And again, even like the weirdest things, bro. Like I would be anywhere and I would just have like the most randomest thing and somebody would be like, I need it. And I'm like, oh, I have it. Even at my house, people are like, I need this, and I'm like, oh, I have it. So there's a joke about it being Bremart and this and this, and people will just take, and they'll be the first person they can't turn to for help for anything. I get people call me for advice. People call me to save the day, to borrow money, to borrow a tool, to help build a house, to help clean their houses, to help move out of their houses, to help their children, to watch their children, to this and this and this. Or the same people will then be the very people that are saying these ungodly things about me behind my back or even to my face. Like certain people like to be like, the crazy girl. What? The crazy girl had a crazy idea? The crazy girl had a genius idea? Bro, I'm like genius on paper. Like my IQ is, I'll spare you because I'm content in who I am and I know my abilities like tested on papers and they're bozos. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that they're bozos because they literally trying to get a reaction on me by calling me the crazy girl. I'm like, oh, I'm crazy. But you know what thing I've never been? Wrong. And it really grinds their gears. And they try to come at you and attack you and add more and more distraction and more weight to you and more karmic debt. Because again, so when you like let people tell you their problems, that's energy, bro. So it weighs on you. When you take on their problems, you're taking on their karmic debt. You're preventing them from having to push through and figure out a way to fix it themselves. And again, so that will slow you down from what your purpose is, what your calling is. But back to my original point of what God sometimes calls us to do things you may not understand. So all of a sudden, like, and again, I was trying to like make changes in my life and do this. And all of a sudden I have this like constant ringing in my head. It's just like a light bulb. Ding, take up your bed and follow me. Take up your bed and follow me. Take up your bed and follow me. And again, I'm like, but I don't know where I'm going. and a lot of the things in my house, right, are like, it's been a lot of traumas. It's been a lot of tribulations. It's been a lot of broken promises and forevers that ended too soon, or disasters that I've cleaned up and cleaned up and cleaned up and cleaned up. So it's like frustrating and emotionally taxing to try to do it again one more time. But I always, suck it up, do it one more time, do it with kindness, do it with, turn on the music, lift it to the Lord, like whatever. It doesn't matter how sad you are or how much anxiety you have, how painful it is, the mess is still going to be there, right? It doesn't matter if it's unfair, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, it doesn't matter none of that. You still have to do it, right? So again, I was like, plus I'm fighting all these distractions, these demonic people, these spell words, these, again, children. I love the children. Breathe for the kids. I have like a little baby gang. And again, how do you tell the kids no, especially when you know that there's so many of the adults in their life that are not being good adults and they're not taking the time for them. But again, you have to remember, too, that even children can be under spell work, can be under demonic entities, can be just sent in by the devil to distract you because the devil is a trickster. So again, here's more to this story about God saying to take up your bed and follow me. So the other day, even after I was like, the chanting, take up your bed and follow me, take up your bed, and I start cleaning up and packing up, I start doing this, the distractions come. So all of a sudden, and now like I have lots of room in my house, 2 bedrooms, but I always tend to stay in the living room, or I have like an ottoman. Either way, it doesn't matter what I have. But what it matters is God called me to take it all outside, to work all day by myself, bagging it up, packing it up, and just putting it in the yard, okay? And then he says, at twilight, wear a cover on your face so that you can't see the ground. And I'm like, and now even, so as I'm doing this, even my neighbors are like, what are you doing, Brianna? And I'm like, and I've told them, God told me to do this. And they're like, Brianna, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's a curse. And I'm like, I know, God told me. So this is an important message, not for me. He wasn't cursing me. It's a message that needed to be put out. And it doesn't matter what it was or what people thought about me. I mean, even my other friends drove by and like tried to beat, but I was like in the zone, right? Because God told me. So I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and I kept doing it. And even I would go inside, and I would start packing up more stuff, and I'd be laughing. I'm like, God, I hope this is what you want me to do, because I knew how absurd it looked to people and how absurd it even was for myself, because this technically was my bed. This technically was my home, and I'm just putting it out, and I don't know what the weather was. I didn't know where I'm moving to or what the plan was, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter because God said, so I did. And again, to just do it with faith, and again, to do it with faith, trust Him fully. Didn't matter my comfort, doesn't matter, because God, and then somebody, that I knew from my past stopped by. And it was interesting too, because this is like the second person this week that everybody comes to me for like help or money or this or that, and so they're in demonic, karmic, and financial debt with these entities and these cults and gangs, right? But again, and these people did some very ungodly things to me, but I forgive them. It's not justice and vengeance comes from God, not from me. And again, they think they fooled me. They come sometimes to try to see like how much I know or if I don't know or what I'm gonna do. But again, still be kind, still be giving, still be helpful. Turn the other cheek if someone smacks you. Now, God, there will be a time when God will turn His cheek, turn His eye, and turn His back on them completely. But again, I always pray and pray and pray for people that doesn't happen. And again, this is how you know too when people don't take. It's interesting. So like the demons and the devil will and witches and they will literally they believe in God. They believe in Jesus. You can tell by their reaction. They fear him. People who really walked with Christ, who walk with God, they are fearful of the consequences of not living righteously and by the God's law. But these other people that somehow the devils and the cults and the covens trick, right? They somehow think that their God or their demon, their devil, is going to protect them, but they don't know. And this is another thing that truly is amazing. So, like, the devil knows who's who. The devil knows what's what, right? So these people thought that they were, like, setting me up time and time again. They think they're tricking me. But the devil knew. The devil knows who I am. God knows who I am. I know who I am. So sadly, the one who's being set up is the people that are going along with these certain things. But again, that's a different story. So again, I was laughing and I'm like, okay, God, this is what you want me to do? I'll do it. I put all my stuff legitly out in my front yard. I wore the black cloth over my face so I couldn't see the ground at twilight because he told me to. I had no idea what this meant. I just know that I was called to do this. And so when the people came up and they're like, do you have any scrap metal? Because, again, they're financially messed up. And these people also just want to take, and they don't ever really, and this is my fault too, because I never give with a expectation or demand back. Like usually most people want financial reciprocity. But I don't. I'm just like, no, take it. And so the one old friend of mine, he's mentioned many times before about these demons and being attacked or joining in with them. And but again, he knows some shit that was done to me, and he thinks that I don't know that his part in it or that who was what or blah, blah, blah. But he kept mentioning something about like, why are you so happy? Oh, that's why you're so happy. Listen, I'm so happy because I move with love. I know that how you treat people is your karma, but how you react to the way they treat you or how people treat you is their karma, and how you react to the way people treat you is your karma. So again, just because people do bad things to you, don't let it stick to you. Just pray for them. Pray for them. Let them go. Still love them. If you love them when it's ugly, it's beautiful in God's eyes. That doesn't mean you're foolish. That doesn't mean you're weak. So many times I could literally have retaliated. I could have literally become a warmonger or a satanic and psychopathic murderer and literally burned the town to the ground because nobody in the world would have been against that idea if they knew the whole story. But that's not who I am as a person. And again, a lot of times too, when you hold things in for so long, it can build up and build up and build up. So like, I was always not fearful for me. I'm fearful for what happens if I let it out. So instead of letting it build up and bottle up or letting it come out, I let it go. So again, I kept telling this friend who was, a friend of me, for better wording, he's like, why, this is all this stuff you collected. Now, mind you, I'm a connoisseur of collectibles. Like, I love so much, and I can see the history and everything that I have accumulated, just the most amazing stuff. And again, it all meant at one time so much to me. And again, I'm like a Great Depression baby, so even when it comes to like things that others might think is garbage or not worth keeping, I see a purpose and a point and a use that somebody else could use it, or I could remake it into something else. And so it like hurts my heart like to throw away anything. So even food, I will either eat probably long after I should, or I give it to the birds, or I have a compost pile, found a way to repurpose it. These projects and things, like one time I had like literally 3 tote bins of maybe like rocks or scrap wood or cardboard. So then I had to literally look around to people who were not even my friends or people who had done bad things against me. And there's a saying, what would Jesus do? Well, and I have these 2 gentlemen in my life that were like, I had almost a complex about it because again, and they never give me any reason for this, but in my head, around me, they were, I guess they at one time, no, they're kind of like smart dudes or capable dudes or whatever. Again, I had a really messed up childhood kind of, so I tended to have a little bit more listening ears for men than I did for women. Like I didn't at one time I struggled with like bitterness and hatred. I didn't trust them, or I tend to be. One time I was diagnosed with like multiple personalities, and like there was a big joke about like, oh, I had all these male personalities and these masculine energies or traits, right? So, but anyway, I would be like, what would Scott do? What would Kyle do? What would this person do? What would Jesus do? And again, even in the Bible too, so like Jesus gets frustrated and heartbroken with his disciples because they're always like, are we going to get paid? What are we going to eat? What are we going to wear? You want me to just give up everything and just go with you? Judas is all like, let me collect the donations. Let me move all obstacles out of your way. And Jesus would be so frustrated. And he's like, bro, we're not doing this to get paid. We're doing this so that we can be rich in heaven. We are doing this because this is what God our Father says is the right thing to do. And again, he provides for everything. We're the only species that has to pay to live, or that gets so wrapped around in these fleshly desires and these materialistic things. So he's like, and he's trying to tell them, like, this is not what's, wait, little worm, I'm trying to save a worm right now, hold on. And he's so wiggly, and I'm like, stop, I'm just trying to give you to your home. But he was in a part of the yard that's super sunny, and he's going to get cooked or eaten by birds, so I put him in a better spot for him. But it's so funny, just like I was saying about people resisting God's word, we always wiggle, and we're like we're fighting the saving. Like he's saving you from these things, but you're just like, I want, but what? I could do it myself. He's wiggling, making it harder to be saved. Isn't that funny? I just thought about that. That's exactly what people do. God is trying to pick you up and move you to where you're safe, to where you're wealthy and blessed with your purpose or heavenly riches or lasting life, right? But instead we're like wiggling, and we're like, I can do it. You know how your kid is like, wants to be super independent and like, I can do it myself. And you know they can't, but you're like fighting with them, like, let me just help you because it's easier. But again, so then it becomes a war between you and your child, and then everybody's energy gets all messed up, and it becomes literally a war. But you just want to do right by your kid, but your kid's like, just let me do it. And you're like, but I can save you the trouble. It's so funny. It's like me saving that worm. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So my friend was like, why are you so happy? And how I got happy, even throughout all these rapes and robberies and being drugged or being mocked or being attempted murdered or being beat almost to death or having health issues or my children kidnapped, all these terrible things, and I'll just save you the rest of it because it gets a little graphic and dark. But the point of what I'm saying is you don't have to carry that stuff on you. What people do to you or what you've been through is not who you are. It does not define you. It does not reflect on you at all. Okay? If anything, if you want to take anything, you just remember, like, I'm a beast, bro. Like, I made it through that. And not me made it through that. God brought me through that. That's, again, time and time again. I couldn't have gotten nowhere without God. Anytime I was going through something bad, even in I dated this guy, right? And he was not a good guy to me, but at one time I thought he was the world because, again, or that I was indebted to him but we also were like friends first. And we used to say to each other, I'd rather have bad times with you than the best times with anybody else, because we were able to overcome so much and do so much. And then when things got really bad, right, and he had just given up, like he had just turned dark and he got lost. And because, again, it's tough for guys to not be able to be the provider or for things to not work out, especially if they're perfectionists or they have maybe a hero thing. So, but it's tough, too, when your, whole life is about being the savior, but then you need saving. You're like, whoa, or if you've never been broke before or broken, and then one day you find yourself absolutely without. It's hard to face the world sometimes when you fuck up. It's hard to admit that you're not as strong as you thought you were, or that you need help. So again, it would just break them down. And now at the time, or there was so many other times where I was like in a really bad spot, or like literally in a really dangerous spot, or just like stranded, or doing anything, anytime. I'd be like, God, please help me, or I'd just like be thinking in my head, like, I wish something would, I wish a car would drive by, or I wish somebody would help, or something. And then like out of nowhere, poof, like everything would just work out. Literally, even when every time in my lowest, darkest points, anytime, it was never that dark and it was never that bad. And God always provided what we needed. And Jesus said that. He's like, God, has he not given you clothes? Has he not given you this? Has he not given you this? Do the birds not have their feathers? Do they not have food to forage? It always works out. God provides everything you need. He sees you. He's always there. So there's nothing in your good times or your bad times that he will not see and that he will not make sure. So everything happens for a reason. So sometimes, and again, back to my point, that sometimes God calls us to do crazy things, like take everything you own and just put it out in your yard and cover your face. Sometimes God tells you, even like I listen to the birds, okay, the birds or the clouds. Like if you look up, there's going to be direction and signs and synchronicities, and that will lead you to. You just have to literally tune out the world and turn out your ego, because sometimes too, like the voice in your head will be like, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Mute button it, change the channel, look with your heart, say, like, I'm not sure about this, this seems a little bit weird, but again, just know that he will never lead you down the wrong path. Literally, with you have that, even that one speck of that mustard seed speck, right? It can do all things. You know, frequency and vibration. Joshua in the Battle of Jericho, right? He marched around the town, or the building, the castle, the walls, and it came crumbling down, right? They were just, sometimes God will send you to walk, and I've been just walking for like a year around. And again, because I was telling you before, you're a transmission and a receiver, and sometimes God needs somebody to take in, to make note of who's doing what's going on here. It can really help heaven to see who's living righteously or not, who's hurting children, who's not, who's committing crimes and who's not. You know, because again, especially if you pay attention to patterns, to vehicles, to license plates, to houses, to yards, to kids, to voices, to animals, these things are all important. So you don't even know that you're literally like, beep, 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 beep. I'm transmitting back to heaven so that God can act accordingly. And so you might think, even there was other times where I was just like, everybody's like, where are you going? And it's so funny because I was so agoraphobic. I was literally so locked in my own skin, in my own house. Like I couldn't even take 4 steps one way, not even to go to the bathroom, not even to do that. So let alone to be outside every day, to be walking around the whole city, to be doing this, to be singing, people wanted me to be crazy and look nuts. But again, those things worked in God's favor, and those things broke me out of these old prisons of my flesh and of my demons, of my pain, and it really helped healing. You know, so sometimes you just got to let go, lift it to the Lord, go within, talk to yourself, talk to the birds, look at the sky, and just trust it. And so back to what I was saying about my friend, he's like, why are you so happy? And he's like, I can't believe you're letting go of all these collectibles. And I was like, God told me to let it go, and he will give me better. And again, even this demonic friend said, and he will, because even they know. And that sometimes you just have to know and trust that. And yeah, I just wanted to share that long, crazy story with you about, cherry on top of this, like I said, I took all this stuff out. My neighbor had moved out, so there was a lot of garbage stuff on the curb. Okay, and again, we have a rule about putting trash cans. Your bags have to be in cans. The recyclables have to be this way and that way. Like there's like county and city regulations. Now, mind you, so They took everybody's garbage but mine. And now I had a lot of garbage, but again, it was in the cans for the most part, except for like a couple bags. But they took a grandfather clock that was not obviously in a can, and they put a sticker on it. And if you get so many stickers, you get a fine. So then my friends was stopped by, and I was like a little bit cranky about it for a second. I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense. Because sometimes you forget that the devil is a trickster, and he's trying to distract you or wear you down or make you act out. So she says, oh, one time I called, and then they came and got my garbage. I'm like, oh, it's not worth it. I'll just wait till next week and then go out in the morning, because I know that if you put your own garbage in, they let you do that. So, because I've helped people do that before. And the funny thing is, like, when I'm always walking, I said, I will go down the block and put everybody's cans back, or I will help people who are out of town or pregnant or this and that put their garbage out, blah, blah, blah. So again, sometimes it can be frustrating because you're like, I always do all this good stuff, so why is this bad stuff happening to me? Hello, little bird. Sometimes again, you just have to remember it's a trick from the devil, or it's a parasite. So I call. The first time she hands me the phone, because again, I don't have like a working phone or anything. The first time she hands me the phone, it was like, press this for the police department. So I just was like frustrated because again, I'm in this negative mindset. So I just hang up. I'm like, it's not worth it. She's like calls back and she gets to someone, and she hands me the phone, and a lady answers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to get a hold of like the waste department because they didn't take my garbage. And she's like, well, what's your address? And so I start to say it, and it's so funny because I really didn't even get to finish saying it. And she's like, it's over the lid limit, which means that the garbage was poking out over where the lids go. And again, it was absurd. Like, okay, some of it was, but again, the two cans have like the lid attached. Whatever. The other cans, I thought, because I set the bag on top, I thought it was better to be contained, like to set the bag on top of the can, even though the can was full, than it to be just on the ground. But she's like, it's over the lid limit. And I'm like, yeah, but they took the grandfather clock and they took everybody else's garbage. Like, so why not mine? And again, when I heard this voice, for some reason, I instantly knew that she was like just working against me, and she was like team demon, right? So anyway, I'm just like, yeah, but so I pointed out they did everybody else's blah, blah, blah. The lids are attached to it, so it still was within regulation. And she's like, well, I can transfer you to a supervisor. And I just laugh, and I'm like, no, that's fine. I'll just pray for you. Because, again, sometimes that's all you have to do. That's all you can do is just laugh and just let it go. Let it go. Just, like, let it go. And now I've been laughing all day because I'm like, it's so silly. They're literally running out of tricks to do. And it's really beyond hilarious at this point. But again, so now all day I'm like, can nobody take my can nobody hold me down? Oh no, I got to keep on moving. I'm like, it's so pathetic. Like, these are the tricks that you come up with. Also, real fast, like in my dreams, they were doing weird things, like, I was reliving sexual assaults, or I was part of a robbery heist, or there was like a stripper who had this mountains and mountains of wax-sealed monies, and she was just like, here, this is for you. Or I was stranded somewhere, and I was trying to get a ride. But anyway, the point of these things is, so this is the devil and these witches and warlocks that are trying to attack you in the spiritual and astral realm to put this karmic tainted stuff on you, or to break your energy and your spirit, so that when you wake up, again, or to make you look bad to God in the astral and spiritual realm. But again, you just rebuke it, return to sender, times 10 in the name of Jesus and God's grace and strength. Amen. Just remember that, again, God knows your heart. God knows your actions. They can't set you up, even in the physical world or the astral and spiritual world. Especially if you live with love and you live with pure intentions, and you rebuke it and return to sender. Always, always, always. Wear God's armor, wear the blood of Christ, and let it go. Because, again, that's what they're trying to do, is get a reaction. They're trying to wear you down bit by bit by bit and dump their shit on you, especially if you're a very empathetic person. Anyways, have a good day.